A new study shows Arizona is leading the nation in pushing people off of food stamps. At the same time, the cost of the state's education voucher program continues to rise unabated, impacting the state budget.
Our Craig Harris, who has uncovered thousands of empowerment scholarship parents using tax dollars on questionable items, things like iPhones, TVs, and even vacations, is joining us now with more. Craig?
Hey, good evening, Mark and Kribi. 424,000. That's the number of Arizonans removed from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, since July. That's when states were required under a new federal law to rein in the number of food stamp recipients or face steep financial penalties. Arizona has led the way.
SNAP was actually really beneficial because the only income that I have coming in is a small loan that I get every month from a family member. And it's barely enough to cover my bills.
Meet Jenny Duncan. The Whitman resident is disabled. She received almost $300 a month, the maximum, for SNAP benefits until last winter.
Without it, you're eating a lot more potatoes. I've also had to put things on credit cards that, are near max anyway.
She is among the roughly 47% of Arizonans who no longer receive food stamps since last summer. That includes 180,000 kids, according to the left-leaning Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. That organization this week said Arizona leads the country in removing people from government food assistance. The cuts come as a result of President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. That put additional restrictions on SNAP starting last summer.
We're seeing people lose their benefits because of so-called crackdown on fraud, which is really nothing more than bureaucratic paperwork, making it harder for people to get food that they need on their tables.
Governor Katie Hobbs, a Democrat, said Arizona's rapidly growing ESA program deserves the same level of fiscal scrutiny. She said the two are not directly related, but
it is an entitlement, as is SNAP. We should be seeing the same kind of regulations on ESAs as we do on SNAP beneficiaries.
While SNAP primarily helps low-income earners, 12 News Investigates found the ESA program primarily helps upper-income earners, with thousands using ESAs on luxury items. However, the Republican-controlled legislature has refused to make any changes, especially since ESAs were expanded in 2022 for all kids, regardless of how much a family made. Look at this explosive growth. Within a year, 62,000 kids joined the program, not just those who were leaving public schools, but families already in private schools and already homeschooling signed up in droves. By the second year, nearly 75,000 students used ESAs and over 85,000 the next. Today, more than 101,000 students use ESAs, costing the state much more than expected. Before the program opened to anyone in 2022, it cost about $176 million per year. Then it jumped to $475 million, to $717 million, to $872 million. Last year, $1 billion. And now it's projected to hit $1.2 billion.
And ESA is supposed to be helping, kids. But if we're not feeding our kids, it's kind of astonishing that they put one thing over the other. A primary benefit, so, you have to eat. You don't have to have a tablet for school.
Now, even with the reductions to SNAP, there are still more than 500,000 Arizonans on the food assistance program. And while the governor told me that SNAP and ESAs are not directly connected, the growth in ESAs does affect all parts of Arizona's general fund, which the governor noted is very tight this year. With photojournalist Chris Latella, I'm Craig Harris, 12 News.
Craig, cutting SNAP benefits, especially for kids, 181,000 kids, seems cruel. Why did they have to make these cuts?
Well, it's kind of an issue. They have to get below a certain rate of what they would call fraud or an error rate. Right now, it's around 8%. They have to get that down to 6%, and they have to do it quickly. And if they don't, they could be on the hook for having to pay those benefits come fiscal 28 and about $200 million. So they're trying to reduce that significantly now so they don't have to pay that money another year from now. And so it's a lot of planning ahead in order so you don't have a big budget shortfall a year from now.
All right. Craig, thank you.
You bet. Thanks.